My family wasn't a troubled family, so I just found trouble in that area. So I joined a bikie gang, become sergeant at arms. There was a large commercial supply and a proceeds of crime. Just one of those things where I was like in a gang mentality. I'm literally got put into a room with nothing else but a Bible at my dad's funeral. When he passed away, there was biggest change of my life, to be honest. Like what I'm gonna do from here now. I'm gonna make you proud, Dad.
Young soldier of God, steady march.
Yo, it's your boy Dave here, and this is the TFS podcast, The Fresh Start. Hope all is well out there. God bless. Brother, could you please introduce yourself and where you're from originally?
Originally from suburb in called Oakhurst, is in Mount Druitt area. I'm Benjamin Salgado. Living out of Penrith now, where most of my work gets done. But I'd say majority of my life lived in jail, to be honest.
For
Yeah.
the viewers, brother, can you talk a bit about your work at the moment?
I'm a PT. I like doing like community stuff. I like doing community boot camps as well. So that's helped my business, but helped a lot of people along the way as well. But my day to day is just personal training. Benny's Fit Secrets.
Benny's Fit Secrets.
Yeah,
Awesome
yeah,
stuff, man. I'll leave
yeah.
your links in the description so that the viewers can check it out. Well, bro, I guess to start us off, man. So you grew up in Mount Druitt originally. So I guess for my New Zealand viewers and whatnot, can you paint a bit of a picture of what it was like growing up there?
My family wasn't a troubled family, so I just found trouble in that area. So the friends I was hanging around, we always wanted to do. I don't know if it was boredom or we didn't have a like a goal. Like we didn't know what we are doing. So we literally used to just go out at night time, break in the cars, break into houses, drink alcohol, smoke marijuana, um, and literally breaking into houses and cars used to be the way that we used to get money to drink alcohol and smoke marijuana. Then feel shit the next day and then repeat it all for some reason. I went to like good schools, but then rebelled against them, got expelled from all them. Ended up graduating actually year 10 at PCYC in Bidwell. Um, few people be watching this that graduated with me, I think. Um, so then they knew what it was like. But before then, I went to two Catholic schools where I didn't last long in them either. I don't think I lasted more. Or one school lasted a bit over a year, and then the next school was like a few months.
Was it in the area or did you have to travel or?
Oh, the second school is St. Dominic's. So I used to have to like get a bus to the station, Mount Druitt station, and then get a train to, which was pretty. I didn't mind that because there was a lot of people that from Mount Druitt that went to Dommies. So we used to get the train together there and back. So it was pretty fun, to be honest. I liked being around the boys, but I didn't have direction. I just like I would wake up and just yeah, just live. Well, how am I gonna get what I want? And
What's your background, bro?
my dad's Portuguese. My dad's Portuguese. He's passed away now, which is like when he passed away, that was biggest change of my life, to be honest. But yeah, he's Portuguese. Mum's from Dubbo, so she's Australian.
What, did your dad pass away when you were young, bro, or?
No, when I was in jail, I was in segregation, for being involved in well, for allegedly being involved in a drone that was being flown in the jail and dropping drugs off. Um, or drugs and whatever else it was dropping off. Um, so then we all got, there was maybe 10, 15 of us that all got put into segregation. At that time, it's probably the hardest time of my life, to be honest. My partner at the time, my son's mum left me. Um, she'd had enough. I'd been in jail 5 years at this stage, so I was in there for 3 months. Everyone else got out except for me. I stayed in there for longer than everyone else. I think everyone done a couple of weeks, maybe a couple more done 6 weeks, and then I stayed in there for 3 months. Um, Mourning my relationship pretty much the whole time. And then my dad got sick the last 2 weeks of the segregation order. And by sick, I mean he had a stroke, and then he went to hospital. I got a call saying that he might not make it. He actually pulled through and went into the normal wards. So he got out of ICU and went to the normal wards, where he had another heart attack and passed away there. That was like the yeah final straw where I was like, all right, something needs to happen now. Can't do this. And then after that, the jail actually went into bat to get me to. At this time, no one was allowed to go to funerals, and the jail seeing how hard I was taking it, and they actually got me to the funeral, and then I was able to give the eulogy at my dad's funeral,
Wow.
where I promised him that I would make a change and make him proud of me. So
So I guess, when you were younger, when did your sort of interactions with the police start?
probably when I broke into a house when I was like 13 or 14. I think that was oh actually no. When I was 14, I got into a fight. Well, it was supposed to be an organized fight, but I think I took it a bit too far and I hurt the bloke a lot. Um, so then I was charged with that. To be honest, like for the next from 13, maybe 14 to 17, those 3 years I got into a lot of trouble with the police. I can't even tell you like each time I got charged because it was just like there was a lot of charges. It was like robbery, assaults. Um, Remember I broke into a house before, and this that was probably my first time. I think that was the first time I went to juvie.
What was your sort of parents' reactions, bro, to your mischief and whatnot?
Dad never knew. Mum was the cool like to me, mum was pretty cool, even though she's not in society, she's probably not cool, but to me she's cool because she kept secrets from me away from my dad, you know. So like when um when I literally went to juvie, my dad didn't even know. She was always on my side. She's always on my side. So she always like she thought I could do no wrong, I think. Like she's always
Mm.
giving me lectures and stuff like that. But yeah, she always had my back, to be honest. Yeah.
Was God in the picture for you, brother, growing up?
I had a foundation of God. I did do my Holy Communion and Sunday school. Mum and dad made sure I was at mass every Sunday up until probably my teenage years. And then not long after that, I started getting into trouble, to be honest. But yeah, there was foundation there, but there was no like I didn't care about it. I didn't like it.
It was sort of just going through the motions. There was no sort of actual relationship or anything like that.
It was something I was forced to do, and I hated being forced to do stuff, you know. So yeah.
What was like the postcode set? Because I know like over there they get really into the postcode stuff. Was that around when you were growing up?
Yeah. I remember the Mount Druitt used to fight with Guildford a lot. They had a brawl in the station there. I was too busy doing my own thing to go down there. Um, Stuck around the streets of Plumpton and
So
um
Plumpton is a
yeah,
section in Mount Druitt, is it?
yeah, there's a few suburbs around Mount Druitt, yeah. Plumpton's next to like Biddle, Shelby, Oakhurst, and then it just like expands out a bit.
Were there like street crews and that around when you were younger?
Yeah, there was. It's pretty cringe now when you think of it. Right? It's pretty funny like when you think of it. And then you see like kids pretty much doing the same thing now. Like they, they think I think when there was like gangs back then, like little street crews, it seemed like just like harmless but like cringe at the same time, like now that I'm thinking about it. But it was actually pretty destructive. Like there was like a lot of violence and uh like criminal activity going around in those little crews that um yeah, you don't think that's a major thing when you live in it but It's pretty big, yeah.
So what sort of happened in your young adulthood, bro? Like 17, 18. Where did you sort of go from there?
Yeah, I started getting into a bit more trouble than the earlier years. I started maybe selling a bit of drugs and like to get some money in together and being able to take those drugs and go out and do what I wanted. Like we were talking about like street gangs and stuff like that. So my first charge when I was well, sorry, my first incarceration charge when a part of I got charged for robbing someone before, so aggravated robbery. So that was a pending matter. And then um I went and done a home invasion for a mate in one of those crews.
So what was that whole experience like, man, going into the prison system?
It was probably a learning experience. Like I took it as a learning experience, like not only life learning, but like criminal activity learning. Like I literally spoke to so many criminals about criminal activity in there. It was supposed to be a place that I could rehabilitate, but they literally throw a bunch of criminals together and they talk about criminal activity, right?
Yeah, that's what I sort of talk about nowadays as well, especially to youth and stuff like that. It's tough, yeah, exactly, because it's meant to be about rehabilitation, but it's very hard to rehabilitate when you're chucked in a unit with 100 other criminals and everyone, no one's talking about changing their lives really. You know what I
No,
mean? Everyone's talking about how this is how you do this is how you do that. It's
because that's
very
what they
hard.
know. That's what they know. Like when you're talking to somebody, you want to find a common ground. If me and you, our common ground is criminal activity, then we're going to talk about criminal activity. If I talk to somebody, if I am a Christian and I talk to another Christian, it's like we can communicate in other ways. Or just if I'm playing football and someone else is a football player, then I can talk about playing football.
You know, going into prison during that time, man, like what was your mentality, man, like coming out?
I was planning on what other criminal activity I could do. That was pretty much it. Like, how can I make it was like a career. So I joined a bikie gang
What
and
was that in the picture for you growing up, or
never,
like
never,
motorcycle clubs and things?
never. I remember the judge when he sentenced me to 3 years, 3 months, he actually said, I'm scared to give you too much time because I fear that you will be influenced by people in jail. But he also said that he's scared that if he doesn't give me enough time, the DPP will appeal it and I'll get more time than what I should be getting, which is like pretty silly, like to be honest. Like he's scared to give, if he gave me less time, that last year of being incarcerated, that's when I met, I'll say the bikies that um I joined. So let's say if I got 2 years instead of 3 years, 3 months, I wouldn't have met those people, and then I wouldn't have progressed my. I might have progressed it in other ways, but that the way I did, it wouldn't have progressed. I don't regret. I don't have any regrets, or like I'm here now for what of my experiences, but um, it still seems like a stuff up from the courts to say that he's scared to give me less time because he's worried about the DPP appealing it and me getting more time. It just shows it reflects on the DPP and how they work. A big thing that they should introduce is way more education because I feel like a lot of people inside struggle with education. And the more the knowledge is power, right? So if your knowledge is just criminal activity, then you're just going to do criminal activity. But if you have knowledge of something else, like me with fitness, to become the fittest, you need to learn a bit about fitness, right? So um, I was learning and I had knowledge about fitness. So then when I got out, I created a fitness company.
Because ultimately in the judicial system, how it's meant to work anyway is that the it's actually the sentence that's the punishment. You know what I mean? The sentence itself, the incarceration is meant to be the rehabilitation part and
Yeah,
the getting better part. But the way a lot of people look at it, and even society, they look that the incarceration is the punishment as well. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And they need to be punished while they're in there. But the thing is, the sentence is the punishment. I mean, you could be at a prison made of gold. It's still a prison. You know what I mean? You still haven't
yeah,
got your freedom
yeah.
ultimately.
Like, yeah, as you're saying, the sentence is the punishment. The incarceration is not the punishment. That's the almost the treatment, right? So
Yeah,
if
the treatment.
you're being treated in by being incarcerated, there should be like courses and like I know there's some courses, but there should be more to be honest, especially when you're on remand. I don't know how it
Yeah,
is in NZ, but here, or you done prison in Australia, did you?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You see, when you're on remand, you're literally like you're doing nothing.
All right, so you ended up getting out of prison, bro, and so you entered the outlaw motorcycle club world and
Yeah.
things like that. So I guess what sort of happened from there, brother?
A lot of got into a lot of mischief, I guess. Yeah, it was a shithead to be honest. I was down for anything. I woke up and I was just like I was in it. Like when I do something, I guess I do it 100% and I was 100% into that. Like I'd wake up and I'd think about it, go to sleep thinking about it. I become Sergeant at Arms of um a chapter that was pretty well known in the gang that I was in. And then not long after that, I went to jail for originally was 8, 10 years, but got reduced to 7 years.
Far out. So how long had you been out for after the 3 years?
So I'll give you a quick rundown. There's 3 years, 3 months. I was out for exactly 3 months to the day. And then I got out again for 4 months, went back in for what was 18 months, which was originally only supposed to be 12 months, but then we had a riot in Goldin, which gave me a bit more extra time. And then I got out and I was out for I think 14 or 16 months before I went back in for 7 years.
Bro, so what sort of happened with that riot at Goldin?
It had nothing even to do with me. Hey, it was just one of those things where I was like in a gang mentality and I wanted to join in. It was another yard that was it was actually an Aboriginal yard that was kicking it off. And we were in the Islander yard. They asked all the yards to stay out and like carry on with them, like have a riot with them. Like we were pretty much a troublemaking yard. Um, that was down to like stay out and we didn't join in on the riot so much. We were just like there, um, at the Aboriginal yard. They were climbing up on fences and there was a few boys that like they were throwing stuff and yeah, they were pulling down barbed wire fences and um. Our yard didn't do that, but we refused muster, which refused to go in, and then we were throwing food items and stuff like tuna cans and stuff like that as well. Um, but there was only two guys from our yard that got charged with it. Um, me and a Fijian guy. Um, yeah, but I think 80% of the oh sorry, not 80%. There might have been there was over 10 to 15 people from the Aboriginal yard that got charged with it. So we were just joining in. It was just like one of those things where
Just one of
I
those
was
crim sticking fat ones.
pretty much, yeah, yeah.
So for people that don't know, and here in New Zealand, so in Goulburn Prison, the yards are segregated by race, isn't it?
Yeah, segregated. Oh, not anymore. I don't think anymore, but back then it was separated by race. So there was the Lebanese yard, the Aboriginal yard, the Asian yard, and the Islander yard. Um, and out of those four yards, most like there was like Aussies, I'd say, scattered between the four. So they were all known as like the Islander Aussie yard, the Asian Aussie yard, the Lebanese yard. Aussies used to go there if they were invited there, same as the Aboriginal yard. Yeah, but they're all segregated by race.
So how did you sort of find yourself with the Islanders?
I knew more people in that yard than I did any other yard. I guess there's a lot
Was
of,
that just was that growing up and stuff?
I guess so, yeah. Also the bikie gang I was in, they were in that yard too. So, um, well,
Oh,
there
yeah.
was, yeah, four or five guys in that yard at the time. So it was funny. As soon as I got in the yard, within a week, I was in a fight in the middle of the yard, which was, yeah, it was pretty fun, I guess, at the time.
So man, so then what happened with that last sentence where you ended up getting that well you originally got sentenced to 10, was it?
13 years on top. So 13 years with 10 years on the bottom. So that you would know what that means, but for everyone else, that's 13 year sentence. And if you're a good behavior, you get out after 10 years and then you serve 3 years in the community. That was a large commercial supply and a proceeds of crime. So they had money everywhere and drugs being sold multiple places. Um, there was drugs. Um, There was drugs and money found at my house, in separate places. There was another large commercial supply that was happening without me being there. I wasn't anywhere near that large commercial, which I was charged with. Then there was an affray in jail, which gave me some time, which it was just a fight in jail, with someone that I used to know, someone that I used to be friends with, um, which is another gang sort of um, situation.
What was it like, man, going back into prison?
It was hard because I had a young son at the time. So,
Oh,
um,
okay.
and then, yeah, I took it a bit hard that time because I just had a lot going for me then. So, um, but look, I'm happy. I'm happy I went to jail at that time. It got rid of a few people out of my life that were holding me back.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it got me closer to God.
So how many years in by the time your dad passed away?
5 years, a bit over 5 years, so five and a half or five, yeah, about 5 years.
So what was it like giving that like being able to get out and speak and things like that? Yeah, get out of jail and go and do the eulogy and
Because I literally come from jail and I'm coming into a church full of family and friends
yeah,
on a dark day, like a day that I'm burying my dad. Um, I was trying to like, you try to socialize, but you're sad at the same time, and then you're anxious because you literally come from, you're not used to being around all these people. Like it's like a weird emotional situation. So going to do the eulogy was like really hard because my siblings were up there. Um, they had eulogies, so there was four of us that were giving eulogies, from oldest to youngest. So I was third in line, and I remember I couldn't even speak, the like I was crying, and uh,
well,
yeah, that was it was hard. Like what I'm going to do from here now, I'm going to make you proud that I'm going to look
uh,
after look after our family now that you're not here, and I'll do what I should have been doing from the start.
so I mean, so what was it like going back to prison from then? So you still did another 2 years after that, was it?
Close enough. It was about yeah, it was about yeah, it was close enough to 2 years. I was still working on myself at that time. I was actually in a program, the alternative sanctions program, which like changed me heaps.
Oh,
Um,
real?
yeah, it was like a full time program.
So like from there and then during the rest of that time, like I guess because obviously you still got your boys and stuff like that. So I guess when did you start making that decision to walk away?
I left the club, I think 3 years into my sentence. Also, 2.5 to 3 years into my sentence. During the whole 7 years, I'd go into there were stages of like, I want to change, I want to make a change. How am I going to do
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Or so then it would just progress each time. So I made little decisions along the whole way, and that was just one of the decisions that I made. Um, it was getting me into a lot of trouble. There was it seemed to me I have nothing bad to say about anyone that was um that was in the club, but it seemed that everyone was in it for themselves. It wasn't a proper, I guess, family, and that's what I
Yeah.
sort of like, my family was like, like we don't
Yeah,
turn on
brother.
each other. No matter what happens, we forgive each other, which yeah, it's a big thing for me, forgiveness, because I fuck up heaps too, and my family's like always forgiving me every time. Um, and it's one of the main Christian traits where you should forgive. Um, and it wasn't so much they didn't forgive me, it was like I seen them fighting with each other as well, and then they don't forgive each other, but then they literally call each other brother, which is family. Like it's yeah. Even my journey with God was like in progressions in jail. Like even then, like I remember there was like little things that were happening, and I kept like saying, "All right, that's a sign from God." Uh,
Yeah.
like I'd get into trouble. I remember there was a lock in, and there was like a little there was like a little eruption. Like I won't say a riot. I was literally hard done by because I was put into Segro just because I think they knew who I was and wanted to blame me for like people yelling out and I guess almost like inciting a riot, you know. Um, anyway, I got put into Segro and I literally had nothing except for there was a Bible there. So it was almost like at the time I took it as I've been put into Segro for no reason. I didn't do anything out there, but I'm literally got put into a room with nothing else but a Bible. Like that's a sign from God, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I picked up the Bible and started reading it. Like that's because I'm for like that. It's like God, like I said, here you have to do this now. You got nothing else to do but be locked in this room and read this book.
Yeah.
Um, so then that actually happened 3 times to me, where I get put into Segro, and each of those 3 times there was nothing but a Bible. I started going to mass regularly, every single week, and it was after I'd actually gone to I was going to the chapel in a group to actually bash someone. So we were meeting up there to
As you
fight.
do. As you do. Yeah.
Yeah. But then because we were on the way there, like we were just like, oh, let's just go in and we'll go to church, you know. So I went and went to church and we are joking around stuff like that. And I don't know, I just thought, you know what, like I like it here. Like I'm gonna come back. Nothing else to do. Well, train during the day, train during the week, come to church, play footy. That was sort of my routine. So then I just started going to church and just like filled me a bit. And like every time I went there, just more knowledge of God and how he loves me and how he can help me and he's forgiven me and just the traits of Christianity. Like it's a lot better than the traits of the criminal activity that I was currently doing. So I just got into it a lot more. And I felt it. I felt his presence in heaps of different situations.
It's a process, especially when you're in jail. You know, like even with my walk with God and stuff like that, it started definitely in prison. And like you, man, because in Melbourne we call it the slot. They call Segro the slot, and it all started in the slot for me as well, just being alone with the Bible and. But then you go back onto the yard and then it's sort of just, you go through the motions of being back in the main and then go back to the slot again. And then it's just this continual process, isn't it? What was your plan at that point when you were getting out? What did you plan for yourself?
I sort of never thought that I would actually become a personal trainer at that time. It was like it was the last maybe 6 to 9 months where I decided, oh, this is what I'm going to do. And it was actually my younger brother that said to me, this is because we used to talk pretty much every day. And he said, and like, I was like, oh, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that. And I had like opportunities with other stuff. But then he's like, well, you need to do something that you like. Like you need to do, he actually told me you need to do personal training. It's what you need to do. Um, so then I just decided, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to dive into it as much as I can. Just like little vocational courses, and I actually done a few parenting courses which helped me heaps. And I was doing Bible studies as well, correspondence Bible studies, which helped me a lot with my Christian knowledge. But I like the parenting courses as well because it taught me a lot about how, especially co-parenting, and just how like kids see stuff and like when you're doing something, like how much that means to the kid.
What was it like getting out? Especially, having your son there and like what was it like getting out of prison?
So this was my fourth time getting out of prison, so I knew like I was not nervous. I wasn't like a lot of people like have trouble like adjusting like to going to shopping centers and thinking everyone's staring at them and stuff like that. But outside people just stare. That's what they do. It doesn't mean nothing. So the plan was that my ex-partner, my son's mum, decided she agreed to have me having my son for a week of so I can spend some time with him just every day. Like he'd stay with me the whole week. The first week I got out of prison. Yeah, I remember that during that time, during that week, it was like I want to, like I've just got out of prison, so there's that emotion, and then I'm trying to look after my son, where I
Yeah,
haven't done that for 7 years. So then that's emotion, like protection, and then I'm trying to be present with him at the same time. I'm trying to get my life back on track, apply for licenses and Medicare and all these
yeah.
other things that normal people like they do over time, but I had to do it like within that week. So it was like a lot of hard work. And I remember I went to my friend's house in Newcastle, and it was the first time I could actually like relax, and then my son be looked after while I just like let myself like go. So I woke up early and I went for a run, and it was like I'll never forget this run that I done. And I've even got it on my fitness app, and every time I look at the run, I remember it. Where I like just the emotions come over me, and I literally was crying in the run, just like so happy.
Wow.
That I was out and I was able to look after my son, be present with him,
Wow.
but then also get my life on track, and everything was just working good. It was like all that build up planning when I was in jail, just being released, and then I was able to like now to do all that stuff.
Wow. What a runner.
Yeah, it's a good run.
Yeah.
Called my brother Justin in on the run, and I was like speaking to him while I was crying. Yeah, yeah,
Man, that gratitude, huh? Just hit
yeah.
you.
That's what it was. The gratitude. Yeah.
Wow. So I guess yeah, man. So how long have you been out for now?
Maybe a year and 3 months.
Man, you're killing it, man. What you've been able to achieve in that amount of time. Like, well, so what happened after you got qualified and stuff? What did you do from there?
I made a name for myself in the gym that I was training in.
Yeah,
At that time, I was like actually traveling gyms. I was like checking which gyms would suit me better. And then I stumbled across a few of my mates that were like in a camp. Um, so I joined the camp, and then I made like I'd push really hard. So then I made my name, established a name in the gym, I guess, as being pretty fit. Which people like, they like training with fit people.
yeah.
I was qualified, so then I started advertising my PT on social media, like, in the gym, and then like people just wanted to train with me. So now I'm pretty much booked out.
Man, you get so much support though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
get a lot,
Um,
man.
yeah.
So were a lot of them
I'm
like
so
people that
grateful
already
for.
knew you?
A lot of them that I just met, but a lot of like yeah, I guess there's a lot of people that already knew me, so they had like a bit of love and respect there for me, and then a lot of
Yeah.
people that I just met, which like I'm heaps grateful for for this community that's like backed me. Like there's like I could name some people, but yeah, I'd be like here for a while because like
Yeah.
been a lot of good people and they've all gone through their struggles too, and I've tried to help them as much as I can, and I've been told that I've helped them, but honestly, they've helped me heaps too.
Brother, I really appreciate you taking the time. As we can see, man, you're a very busy man, and we'll only get busier. Just to wrap up, brother, like, do you have any messages for or words of advice for people who are in similar situations with you?
One thing I learned from a course in jail, I remember hearing it, 90% of tomorrow's thoughts are the same as today's thoughts. So you can only change your thoughts maximum 10% every day. But if you keep doing that every single day and you just try to change your thoughts every single day, eventually you'll change your whole thought pattern. So even like no matter what you're thinking, especially when you're thinking something negative about yourself, your body doesn't feel um your body doesn't know any different. So if you're being told something, if you're being told that you're ugly every single day for a year, you actually believe that you're ugly. Whether it's someone else saying that or you're saying that to yourself. So you need to change that mindset. If you say to yourself, all right, I'm a fuck up. I'll never be able to run a business. Um, you're telling yourself that. You're saying that to yourself. So you need to stop saying that to yourself and then change your thought pattern. It's not going to happen overnight, but you got to keep trying and trying and trying because it's only going to be 10% changed every day until you're able to say to yourself, all right, yeah, I can do this, or I'm going to do this, or however you get past it. If you're telling yourself you can't do something, then you're not going to be able to do it. But anyone could, like everyone that's done something in their life, they were like there's some people that are born into it, but like a lot of people created that for themselves because they worked on it. You just can't be lazy. You got to get up in the morning. You got to change your mindset first, and then um, get on with it.
Well, look, Benny, man, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, man. Wise words from a wise man.
Thank you.
And brother, it's very good to connect, man. And yeah, if you ever make your way across the ditch, brother, would love to have you over here.
My mate's over there now, my best mate. So he's actually a 5012 too. He's yeah, I'll be coming to visit him one day, so I'll reach out. God bless you, bro.